I've lived with a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old who has had to go through that journey and a lot of times felt as though he was alone. He's not, and you're not, and we are supporting you. Mine started very abruptly as my child was 6 years old when diagnosed, or either when there were signs that were notable that something may be going in an odd direction. My child was urinating a lot and was a bit lethargic and very tired, and there was no real explanation behind it. Of course, then I recommended to see a physician and have conversation about what this could potentially be, because type 1 diabetes wasn't a thought. No one in my family previously had type 1 diabetes. My grandmother, she had type 2 diabetes, and I could remember drawing insulin and watching her take her blood sugar levels and understanding some of her choices, and also to having to watch her administer insulin. So I did understand the treatment of diabetes, but not type 1, especially not for an infant. So it was a bit of a shocking experience, but that is not only why I'm happy to be a spokesperson when engaged by Sanofi to share my story, share my experience, and the research that Beyond Type 1 is doing is an opportunity for me to be able to share a real world experience and be very transparent. I live my life transparently as an artist and I'm a storyteller, but this one is a real life story. This one is a real chance to be able to share and shed light on something that, might not necessarily be a journey that families are prepared for. But if they could have early screening, there's a chance that they could be better informed, prepared for this journey that they're about to have.
Beyond Type 1 is a global nonprofit organization, and our primary goal is really to help individuals living with type 1 and type 2 diabetes to not only survive their diagnosis, but to really be able to thrive. Another critical component is that we are really a community of individuals living with diabetes, and we are working to redefine sort of what that looks like, what you imagine. We want to show what's possible, right? That type 1 doesn't have to limit your hopes and your dreams, that you are able to manage it. About 8.7 million people have type 1. And as I said, we're expecting it to double by 2040 and head up to around 17.4 million people. It's traditionally about 5% of the overall population of individuals living with diabetes.
I think the one thing that is happening is an effort around information with regards to type 1 diabetes. The better you are informed and educated, the better prepared you are. And that goes in life, period. But to know that there is such a vigilant effort around trying to get people the help that they need, the support that they deserve, because no one should suffer as a result of something that is out of their control. Type 1 diabetes is not something that you can be prepared for, but if there are efforts that are supporting it, then I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of supporting the research statistics that Beyond Type 1 has, and to be able to potentially support efforts that could, get the type of funding that is needed, as well as raise awareness around type 1 diabetes. The website, theonepledge.com, was a major launch for us through Sanofi, but it also too was very informative for people who want to know if there are things that they should look out for. But more importantly, with my being here to be able to shed light on something that I think we are getting right, and we are searching for more answers to continue to get it right and move this conversation and the support in the right direction. And I can share my personal life experience with my now 16-year-old and having enough real-time experience that I could have never been prepared for. At that point, I just wanted what was best for my child. It was a bit overwhelming. And for those who are going to go on that journey or are living with it, I want them to know that they're not alone. I want them to know that, type 1 diabetes, for those who actually live with it, is not something that should be felt as though it's shameful, something that should be hidden, and something that should make you feel not normal, and though you can't have a balanced, thriving, and normal life. Specifically for children, because I've lived with a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old who has had to go through that journey and a lot of times felt as though he was alone. He's not, and you're not, and we are supporting you. To be able to share my story with legislators, as well as to support the efforts behind the type of research that we on Type 1 has done, is what is very intriguing, exciting to me. If I am to use this very complicated experience that I had for something that is positive and to bring about positive support, then I want to be there for it. I'm there simply to share my story. I'm a storyteller. I make music and I actually tell stories, but this one is one that I feel is necessary and could potentially help a lot of people. I feel like sharing my story could potentially bring support to people who really need it. In addition to the fact that I want the rest of the world to understand that it is a priority that needs support. The only way that we will come up with a solution is banding together through Beyond Type 1, Sanofi, Screening for Type 1, the One Pledge. All of those efforts together are a collaborative effort, in addition to so many other people in America who have found remedy for this disorder that young people as well as older people have to live with. We actually strategized a lot. I went to his office and we walked around at an amazing park that they have there. We talked about ideas, brainstormed about things that we could do in the near future. Super Bowl was one of them. And I gave him a pair of skates. I told him, you got enough space here. Maybe you should use them in the hallway to get you where you want to go quicker. That t-shirt is probably going to be valued for millions someday. So I'm hoping that I can get one of them. Matter of fact, we had some really interesting conversations about T1D and some ideas that I floated for consideration of things that I think makes the process of understanding numbers a little bit less intrusive. I'm hoping that there are some things that I can do as I am an advocate for T1D, not just on the Hill, but everywhere I go. And it has become a very significant and meaningful cause and a philanthropic effort that is personal. Having had conversations with Jay leading up to the Super Bowl, the one thing I wanted to do is make certain that it was a cultural moment. He and I were very intentional in our selection of songs. And also to the culture, of which I've had a career long enough to be able to have gone in different genres and spoken to many different audiences. But, without his support, I don't think that it would have been what it is. And I don't think that without him, it will be as great. So, I'm hoping that he stays for a long time. Him and Hamish. Hamish, who shot it, I worked with many years, and Jesse Collins. These are guys who are personal to me. I have a personal rapport relationship with them. So this was not a labor. It was really love, and it was a pleasure to be able to do everything that we did, and great that we can celebrate it again as one of the most watched halftime shows ever in history.